if another chair breaks, we're gonna hear it in all its
Oh
glory.
man, they were
What?
like they
And
still
we
haven't sent me the
are
last part.
live, everybody. So, what's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing today, man? It's your boy Ptk Bl4m back in the building, man. And this feels amazingly good to see you guys in chat. Here with my compadres, man. Every single week, you guys showing up, showing out. This week has been a very, very different week for all of us here. I just want to start here before we do our intros and we just get into the topics because we do have a lot to talk about. But I just want to say, everybody that's here watching now, you guys are fucking amazing. Appreciate you guys so much for coming out live. Hopefully, this gets you back to some type of normalcy. Everybody out there, stay safe, protect yourself, protect your family. We're not going to dive too much into that because we've been bombarded all week, and hopefully, this gives you a little bit of an escape and kind of get you guys back to some normalcy here. So, once again, I greatly appreciate you guys hanging out with us every single week. The show has got some amazing support in 2020. The show's done nothing but grow in 2020. So you guys have shown me and I've heard that things have been going very well just from a lot of you guys. So thank you so much for that. But we will dive in here. Just going around my panel. I know it's been a crazy week. Figure out what everybody's doing, what everybody's been playing, and then we'll dive right the fuck into the topics. Make sure you guys do hit the like button. That is a big deal. It helps the show be seen. Subscribe if you have not subscribed already. Retweet the link on Twitter. All of our Twitter information is there below, so go follow all of us there as well. We're gonna start with you, Stag. How you doing? How you feeling, brother? Glad to see you here today, man. What's going on with you?
Oh man, I finally got my graphics card back for my PC. Been getting all that set back up. Apparently, my mixer board's not working correctly, so I can't play around with my voice today. But just trying to live life as best as I can right now. We'll be streaming again next week. Hopefully, get some sleep. That's been a struggle lately, but it's good to be here with you guys. I've been working on the backlog and all that stuff, and I'm excited to talk about today's topics with you guys. So let's
Awesome.
keep it going.
Glad to hear that sexy voice.
Ooh, got the Kermit.
Glad to hear the voice, man. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate everybody as well. And what's up with you, Centurion? How you been doing, brother? I know it's been a long week. Glad to see you. Glad to talk to you, man. What's going on, man?
Oh man, it has been a long week indeed. It's Saturday podcast, kicking it with my homies, getting ready to talk about games. But oh my god, dude, I'm gonna be upfront. This is definitely a week for the record books. We'll just say that
Yeah.
something that will go down in history, and hopefully, it's just something we all look back on and can reflect and have a more positive outcome going on in the future.
Yeah. Yep. And that's what our
Because
topic
what
here.
we're talking about. There's I don't want to talk about it,
Yeah.
but
Well, we're not gonna, like I said, we're not gonna dive too much into that. There's a
Maybe we'll get hit
bajillion,
on, but yeah.
bajillion. We'll touch into it a little bit, but there's a bajillion,
but
news things
I
to be a
will
part of.
say I'm a little brokenhearted. I was looking forward for the uplifting part of my week was Stagger sounding like he had just got done sucking on a bottle of helium, but
I'm sorry.
now I'm
I don't know
totally
what's going on.
that
I
dream
gotta
has
figure
been
it out.
shattered.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. Don't worry. I'll
Dream
send you a
shatterer,
message later.
Stag. Dream shatterer. But cool. So once again, Centurion, glad to have you here, man. Every single week, appreciate you coming out, man. As well as, last but not least, Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere, man. What's cooking with you, bro? I know me and you've been pretty much talking all week, but how you been, man? How's the family?
They've been pretty good, and I've been pretty good. Some hectic stuff throughout the week. Trying to go shopping, and yeah, well, we'll get into that some other time. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, definitely looking forward to talking about these topics. Been playing a lot of Division 2 and got to check out Ori a little bit earlier today. Haven't really dived into much more other than that, but yeah, it's good to be here on a Saturday talking games.
Let's do it, man. And let's go ahead and dive right in, man. We got a lot to talk about. Appreciate you guys once again. Every single week, you guys are showing up, proving that what we're doing here is amazing. You guys enjoy the content. The content's only going to get better once again, guys. We're doing some different things, reaching out to some different people. So, got some special shows coming up, trying to get everything lined up for you guys just to make the show as good as it possibly can be. So, let's just go ahead and dive right in, everybody. And once again, as we do every single week, the poll of the week this week, man. If you're not following me on Twitter, go do that right now. I put up a poll of the week on Monday, then we talk about it here on the show on Saturday. So the poll of the week this week was, which game dev / publisher has the most to prove going into this generation, to this next gen, and why? So there was 3 different options essentially. One was Ubisoft, BioWare, Bethesda, and then other. So BioWare won. It was pretty much overwhelmingly 46%, almost half the votes were BioWare. Bethesda was 34%. Ubi was 13%, and other was 7%. We had some other mixed studios in there. So I know where this is going. When I made this question, I kind of when I put a certain company on there, I'm like, you know what, this is probably going to be where this is going. But let's talk about this a little bit. Get your opinion. I know Stag, we talked about this pregame. You did vote on this. So what was your opinion? Which company and why going into next generation?
I honestly don't even remember what I voted, and I didn't go into the poll of the week question this week and look. But oh shit!
What the heck?
No, that's my wife.
Yeah.
My wife is playing Division, guys.
Oh, nice. I can easily say that. I mean, I know where this is gonna go, which you've alluded to, but
Yeah.
I mean, Anthem let a lot of people down, obviously, and Fallout 6 was a complete buggy mess. And then they tried to launch a paid service, which they did, but I think I voted Bethesda just because I think Fallout 76 was more of a mess at launch than Anthem was. I think that Anthem, I haven't played a lot of Anthem. I haven't played a lot of Fallout 76, but I have played more of Anthem, and I think it is a more playable, more fun game. It has its issues with loot and no end game per se, but I haven't gone back to Fallout 76. I know a lot of people who have been playing it and love the shit out of it. But it was a buggy mess at launch. I didn't like the constant griefing that was happening for me with people that were just fucking with me constantly, and it was just I think they have a lot to prove going forward because of how badly they've screwed up recently when it comes to that game in particular, and then trying to launch a $100 was it a year service for that game.
Yeah.
I mean at least Anthem and BioWare is like, hey, we're gonna totally redo the whole goddamn game.
That's a good point.
But 76 is like, hey, fuck you, buy us, kind of a thing, So I think going forward they have a lot to prove, and I mean, didn't they lose some of their talent? So
have they? Bethesda?
Yeah, I think some of
They may
their
have.
didn't they go make a different game?
Yeah. I don't know. Somebody fact check us on that in the chat. I'm not 100% sure. Centurion, I know you probably got the deck, but
What was your exact question?
Didn't they lose some
Bethesda? Did they
creative
lose
content? Creative people.
Yeah, creative people.
Well, I don't know about losing creative, but what might be giving you that thought is the whole Fallout New Vegas thing. If I'm correct, Fallout New Vegas was created by Obsidian, and it's actually considered one of the best Fallouts ever.
Yeah, I was
and
thinking
some
people left to go work on Outer Worlds and this type thing.
Yeah,
that's why Obsidian now was doing the Outer Worlds, because they had such a great thing doing Fallout. I even heard a slight rumor that the actual Fallout idea somehow was tied to Obsidian, but Bethesda ended up with it. And they wanted to create a game again like Fallout, and that's where the Outer Worlds came from.
Okay.
So I know some of the original creators of Fallout, I do believe, are Obsidian now.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I was just speculating that they lost some people, but I feel out of those two companies, I definitely feel like Bethesda was.
Yeah.
Hey, Rage 2 was an awesome game, but yeah, I agree with War Chicken in the chat that how you had to buy the DLC in Rage 2 was dumb as fuck. God, that was dumb. Just let me buy it from the store like every other game.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, I will give up from this point, and someone else can go on.
All right. So I guess let me throw mine in. Let me throw mine in. I 100% agree. Anthem, I think so I played Anthem extensively. Me and Fuzz Belvedere, we played Anthem quite a bit, and the game itself, the mechanics are actually phenomenal. The flying, there's no other game that still provides that type of experience right now. There's no other game that gives you the tight control, and they are tight. They're phenomenal. As well as the gunplay is phenomenal. The loot system was the biggest problem, because you can't have a looter shooter with a fucked up loot system. It's just not going to work. You can't do it. And then the direction. There was no direction, no end game, no anything as far as where are we going with this game. So those are the two biggest issues. Now, in saying that, I am definitely going with Bethesda. Only because of the expectations that I think all of us had for Bethesda coming off the 360 generation. Bethesda has not had a game that they've made themselves that's been a solid game this generation. I just in my opinion, they published some great games.
I
Doom,
like how you say by the one a game that was made by
yes, because they
Bethesda.
publish a lot of great games.
Because I like one of the best Fallout games that has ever happened was actually accredited to a different studio. Bethesda just published it.
Exactly. So they publish a lot of great games, but their games themselves, they haven't had a great game, and and especially when you look at the Fallout franchise, you look at that game was in the top tier. It was up there with Mass Effect. I'd even say like Halo as far as just where it was at in a pantheon of games, and they have not done a great job handling that franchise. They fumbled it over and over again with this generation. I do not understand what's going on with Todd Howard there, but hopefully they, like I said, when we talked about this, I hope they don't find a way to fuck up Elder Scrolls. Because if you mess up Elder Scrolls, it's a wrap. If they find a way to drop the ball in Elder Scrolls, they're gonna have a hard time trying to get that credibility back. So I'm going with Bethesda this generation. For me, I think going into next generation, I think they have the most to prove out of those 3 to 4 options. So we're gonna throw this over to you, Centurion. What option did you pick and why, brother?
Man, I don't want to sound like the echo chamber for sure, but okay, but here goes. Anthem, it had its ups and downs. I've put the story out there that my bro, we played the Division with him actually this week, Stain Zombie. He bought me the game for my birthday, and he got the Legion of Dawn edition, both for himself and I. I got the Legion of Dawn upgrade, and his was lost in purgatory somewhere, and we still have not seen it to this day. So he never got the Legion of Dawn upgrade, even though he paid for it, and kind of got the runaround by BioWare on that whole situation. Just Anthem has been a huge mess. But that being said, I have played Anthem a hell of a lot more than I have played Fallout 76. Fallout 76, where to start? Like I said, we're going to sound like an echo chamber. I bought the Power Armor edition that came with the helmet, with the faux bag. I still have my faux bag.
There we go. It's back.
We got it working. Sweet. All right.
So I got my faux bag, and I did not sign up in time for you to get the real bag. You had to sign up on the lawsuit right by a certain date, and I completely did not. So I missed my chance to get the real bag. There has just been so many problems with that game, and then they tried to follow the business model of Elder Scrolls Online. Elder Scrolls Online is also done by ZeniMax and Bethesda, and it's a product that works. It's a games as a service that works. People enjoy it. They keep coming back. They keep buying the expansions. It's something that works. It's like they tried to somehow railroad into Fallout 76 by creating this paid thing that gives you all these perks and stuff. And it had no business being in the game with the game in the state that it was.
Yeah.
So definitely, I remember when I used to say Bethesda was my studio of the generation, and now all of a sudden here we are, and you're kind of reshuffling the deck. You're like, oh well, we gotta knock Bethesda and them down. Like, actually, my God, Ubisoft was also up there too. We've kind of seen some developers all of a sudden that have had a really good pedigree of creating a nice product, all of a sudden seem to kind of all trip and stumble at the same time. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. It's odd that you see these.
Sorry, not trying to drag on.
No. It's odd that you see some of these companies they're flying high. I mean, they could. Bethesda was a sure hit last generation. Not everything Bethesda did was money. Every single time, same thing.
Oh, yeah, dude. I remember when Todd Howard came out on stage with the Fallout 76 idea. I remember. Oh my God, who would forget that E3? He comes out and he is like, "Are you guys ready for some effing games?" Whole crowd goes freaking wild, and he starts talking about Fallout 76, and even the crowd was kind of confused. They're like, "There's going to be no NPCs," and the crowd was like, "Oh my God, this is crazy." But it's Fallout. Let's all cheer for it. And, the crowd was excited. People could not, they couldn't, it was hard to find the Fallout 76 Power Armor Edition. I mean, like everybody was ready for the game. They were ready to have a blast, play Fallout and a multiplayer setting and all
I was
this.
really
And then
looking forward to that game and was
oh,
so
dude,
disappointed.
Yeah.
oh, dude, and then you turn it on and you get out in the world and you're like, well, what do I do
The hell
now?
is this? Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's
And
ridiculous.
the whole idea of NPCs was a huge misstep. I thought it was kind of weird. I think it was just the fact they weren't ready for it. It was something they probably always intended to put in the game, but for some reason they just wanted to rush out 76. I don't know why. Because it felt like a formula that wouldn't work.
Mhm.
And then it just felt really weird because we had just got done playing Fallout 4. Within a few years, all of a sudden they have Fallout 76, and you're just like, something's not right. There hasn't been enough time between Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. Something just feels not right. And when I played the game, it felt incomplete.
Yeah. So I agree. And like I said, a lot of that has to do just the expectations that these companies have had. Like I said, they were a sure shot last generation. They could not miss anything. They could put doodle in a box and sell it, and they would have sold 10 million copies. I promise you. So it's just coming from that to where they've been. It's just to where they have been as far as this generation is pretty it's pretty kind of trying. It's been something that we've all talked about. So let's go ahead and get this over to you, Fuzz. Just what's your opinion? Which option did you choose and why, brother?
Well, I went with BioWare. A couple of reasons why. Like, Mass Effect Andromeda wasn't as bad of a story for me, only because it was my first introduction to Mass Effect. So being a Star Trek fan, it felt good to me as far as a game. Although compared to some of the story stuff that a lot of people talk about the trilogy, I could see why a lot didn't like it. And then when you have like the facial issues that some people complained about, I can get it why it didn't do as well, but it just seems like they didn't put the extra effort to continue with that story and do DLC. It almost feels like it was prepared to do either one or two DLC content add-ons, and they just saw that the sales didn't meet expectations, so they kind of abandoned it as it was, and it just feels bad at that point.
Mhm.
When it comes to Anthem, like everyone said that's played it has a good feel to it as far as the beginning parts of it. It's the loot that's the problem, and it seems like after what was it, Jason Schreier did that story where their developers had to have a blind eye to other looter shooters out there. It's like they couldn't look at Destiny, they couldn't look at the Division, they had to make their own thing, and with it being their first stab at it, it just seems like it was a bad idea to not at least observe what your competition's doing and then try to improve upon, or you can kind of cherry pick some things that you can implement into your game, but by them having those blinders on, it just set themselves up for failure. It's like if you look at games like the Division or even Destiny for that matter, whether it's the first iteration or the second iteration with either one, those games, they've had their low points where the initial launch was great as far as how it was received, and then you get to end game and then it was kind of like, this doesn't feel like it was completely fleshed out, and then they're like, okay, well, here's a DLC update, or here's some expansion stuff, and from there it becomes I won't say a living breathing game at that point, but it definitely adds more life or rejuvenates that fan base. Anthem hasn't done that yet. Now we've all heard that they're working in the background on completely revamping the game, Anthem 2.0, but some of the details are still a little quiet. So is this something that the people that paid, the full price for the game, or even those that got it on sale, are we getting that 2.0 at no additional charge? Or is the 2.0 going to be another 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever, however many dollars, which at that point, just call it Anthem 2, but just deal with the fact that a lot of people feel burned on the first one and are probably not even going to want to touch the second one.
But that's okay. You were just saying like they had perfect examples. I mean, people fucking abandoned ship from Division. People abandoned ship from Destiny. There were a period of time where it's about a year in Division 1, but matter of fact, Division 1, Division 2, and Destiny 1 and 2 where nobody was playing. There was a lot of people that had left. But if you do things the right way and you bring back you come up with fresh ideas, you come back to the table, there is a general response from gamers that, hey, we'll come back and play the game. Just give us something to play. So and
Right.
they had a ton of examples. So that's what for me was kind of strange because, like you said, they weren't allowed to look at these other types of games that are very similar and say, hey, okay, well we could do this, we could take from that, we could do it just to improve their experience, which is super odd. So
Yeah. No, but that was the main reason why I voted BioWare. If they can turn Anthem around with Anthem 2.0 and not try to, cash grab again. I mean, yes, I understand it's a lot of effort and work as far as their devs going back and reworking the game, but if we put our hard dollars down on a game and you guys didn't deliver, or even on the original roadmap, they need to find a way to make up for that in some way, shape, or form. So, but hopefully next gen, or cross gen, or whatever you want to call it, as far as with this Anthem 2.0, they can pull it out. Maybe revisit the Mass Effect trilogy. I know a lot of people are like not really looking forward to remasters. They want new IPs, fresh ideas. I mean, there's other avenues they can take with the Mass Effect universe, basically, but they need to do something before they wind up getting that EA axe that a lot of other studios under EA have gotten over the years. It's like, oh, you've had
they're gonna come out the
2
other
duds.
side.
Yep.
Oh no, they're not. Never mind.
Axe, you're closed. People dispersed. You're now doing backup artwork on XYZ game. So I'd hate to see that happen.
Yeah. So and like you said, the Anthem 2.0, we'll wait and see. We haven't gotten really much if any information besides we're doing something. We're gonna redo the game at some point. So we'll definitely wait and see. So that was definitely a good warm up topic. Good way to start the show. Once again, everybody, hit the like button on your way in. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. Share the link on Twitter. We appreciate it. Let's pack this thing out today, man. So let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. Now, this is something that I wasn't sure whether or not I wanted to talk about this. It's not extremely popular amongst us here, but it is something that did happen this week, and it's fairly large news. Now, Call of Duty did come out with the Warzone mode. Now, we've always talked on and off about Battle Royale. Now, I didn't want to take it to that angle. I just wanted to talk about Activision in this particular point. With the success of Warzone, can you see this being something that they're just going to hold on to? This is something that this is Call of Duty from this point forward. Because if this thing goes the way Apex, the way these other games goes, and it has, I've seen some numbers that look extremely promising as far as the amount of people that have already played this thing. Can you guys see this being something that is constant? This is going to be Call of Duty going forward. So we'll start with you, Stag, because I know you probably have the least to say about this topic. So we'll start with you on this, brother.
Oh, I have to talk about this?
Yeah, you do.
Will they follow this model? Yes. I don't like BRs. I don't like
I know
that whole world. I used to play all the Call of Duty campaigns. I tried the most recent. Like I got to level 2 and I was like, yeah, I'm sending this back to GameFly. I'm burnt out on that whole entire series.
Got it.
With you, so and yeah, if it being free to play, I guess is cool, but what are they just gonna microtransaction? Yeah, I mean, I know we try and stay away from that topic and that word, but they gotta make money, right?
Yeah.
What are they gonna sell you friggin' dance moves and friggin' shiny guns? I don't know. I mean, not dance moves, obviously.
Yeah.
I really don't have much to say on this other than it's definitely something that appeals to the broader masses of a lot of gamers. I mean, I know there's there's a lot of people love that genre.
Yeah.
They like shooting each other and killing each other. They got aggressions they need to get out. I guess I don't know.
Got it. No,
but
I asked you this with the intention of you not giving me much because I already knew. But
I just think it's something I don't understand. Look, I love Halo. I love Gears of War. I just don't get the competitive multiplayer side of it anymore. I've gotten past all that stuff. So I mean, it's a business model that will make money for them and continue to do it. And they're trying to find a way to keep it relevant as well. I mean, as popular as Fortnite is, and the other one,
Apex.
Yeah, Fortnite and Apex are pretty popular, and it's gonna be Man, it's going to be hard to overtake either of those, in my opinion. And we've seen a lot of people try, a lot of different games try, and everyone's like, sweet, for a week or 2 or 3. And, and they'll get their small little fan bases, but they don't get traction that Fortnite gets.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool.
I don't know if I was helpful here, but
No,
I said
no
some
big deal.
words and things.
No big deal. Not even gonna stress about it. But like I said, I asked with the intention, knowing that this wasn't something that you cared much about anyway. But let's go ahead and move on to Fuzz. Let's get your opinion now. Once again, not necessarily talking about the game itself, but just with us knowing Activision for the most part, us knowing the Activision's tendencies. If this thing takes off, are we looking at the next Call of Duty? You know what I'm saying? Are we looking at this is going to be Call of Duty going forward? Are we still going to get the campaign, things like that, the traditional sense of Call of Duty? Are we gonna? They're going to put more emphasis on this Warzone if it continues to be as popular as it is now.
I think they're going to try to double dip for a while and see how it works out. I was under the impression that Blackout was going to be a free to play. There was some rumors of that as well, but it never came to fruition. You still had to buy, Black Ops 5 or whatever to be able to play it. But I could see them totally having this each release of Call of Duty. There's supposed to be another Black Ops in the works. It's going to come out in November. So I guess maybe a month or two afterwards, we can expect a free to play mode as well. They're going to have their cake and eat it too. They're going to get anywhere from 50, 60. Well, now with the battle pass stuff and all that, they're going to get $80 or more out of you. And then you're going to play the campaign. You're going to do some multiplayer. You're going to level yourself up. And then you're going to transfer that stuff over to the free-to-play, where if you want more skins or more other add-ons and things like that, they're going to get you in microtransactions and things. So they're going to find a way now to basically get more money out of us on both sides. The free-to-play model for those that are strictly about that, and then the ones that want the campaign, you still have that option. But hey, come over to the free-to-play so we can get a couple more bucks out of you. So I foresee this being the new norm until the consumer base says, "Hey, enough." But I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
Yeah, and I agree. I tend to agree with this. I mean, especially if it continues the way it's been trending. I've seen some numbers on Twitter, and it's already at I think they even posted it. Activision posted that they've already had 15 million people within the first week or so playing this thing. So if that continues, I mean, Activision is going to do what it does. They're going to follow the paper trail. They just as bad as EA when it comes to the money stuff. Especially when they see some success. I can definitely foresee this being at least a constant part of Call of Duty. Maybe not being the full focus of Call of Duty, because I think there's still a large contingency of people that want the multiplayer, that maybe even still want a campaign, depending on how things go forward. But if this thing takes off and it just stays consistent, now obviously competing with Fortnite or Apex is a completely different thing, because that comes into consistency. Fortnite's been that game for how long now? 5, 6, 7, 8 years now since it came out. So that's going to be tough to do. But I can definitely see it as carving its own niche and being a huge part of the Call of Duty franchise going forward. So we're going to throw this to Houston Tyrion. What's your genuine opinion on Warzone? And do you think this is something Activision is going to make a focus for Call of Duty going forward?
Oh, they're going to make it a focus, but are you going to get your campaign for free? No.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah.
Well, and you want to know why? Fortnite business model. It's the exact same business model as Fortnite. You get the Battle Royale for free if you want to play the Save the World campaign, which is, I'm actually playing it because I'm wanting to check it out for a video I'm doing, and I actually honestly think the Save the World campaign is way more funner than the Battle Royale, but you had to pay for that.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm honestly thinking, definitely they're going to make multiplayer modes that are going to be free to play. They're going to get people to come on into the ecosystem, check it out, fall in love with the game, and then they're going to cross their fingers that some of those people that come and check it out are going to buy the base game.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. You sure you didn't write that business model? Centurion, no part. You got that thing down packed, but yeah. And once again, I think it's just a logical step. Especially in it all. This is all determines how sustainable is this for Call of Duty. Is this something that people are going to continue to buy into? Because people love this season. I didn't think people would enjoy season passes as much as they do. People love the thing. My son is always asking me to buy him the season pass. I'm like, dude, this is every other week you ask.
Dude, it's a nonstop. Can I get the new battle pass?
But
it's crazy.
not to sound
Or Battle
crazy,
Pass, sorry.
I know people how they feel about microtransactions. Like, I'm not trying to be that guy, but let's just face it, microtransactions are here to
I don't mind microtransactions as long as it's not a pay-to-win scheme.
Yeah, no pay to win schemes. I do not like pay to win
Mm-hmm.
at all. But I will definitely say the battle pass thing, at least to me, feels very unintrusive.
It is. I mean, a
You
lot of it's
you pay your
cosmetic.
money for your pass. Yeah, you pay
get
your money for your
cosmetics.
pass. You get your extras, and you're already. And the thing is, you almost feel like that justification because you see the free stuff that everybody's getting.
Yeah.
But then when you buy that battle pass, you get that paid stuff, like the extra resources and
Mhm.
Destiny and stuff like that. And it almost gets to be like, well, I'm getting better than the free stuff because I got my battle pass. That's why it just feels very unintrusive.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I think that's why it's going. I think that's why it's been so easily adopted because a lot of it's cosmetic stuff. You may get some XP boost, maybe an extra gun or two, a special, kind of outfit or something. But a lot of it's cosmetic. So I don't necessarily have an issue with the battle passes, but it is It's just a microtransaction at the end of the day. That's what it is, and it's another way for them to create revenue within the game. So I think we're all on the same page. That depending on how popular this thing is and how big it gets, that we may be looking at the focus for Call of Duty going forward. I don't give a damn if whoever's making it, because they have multiple different devs making Call of Duties. This is something that Activision is probably going to continue to push. Now, this is a kind of a side question here, and we're not going to go off on a tangent, but is this something that you think see replacing like zombies? No more zombies? That kind of stuff? Anybody can answer this, by the way.
I think it could, but there's going to be a call for zombies. Like I know there are some people that are going through like zombie fatigue at this point, but I think it'll be something that they could probably rotate out zombies for now, and then eventually work zombies either into this model or something along those lines. But I think there is some zombie fatigue in a lot of games right now, although not for me, but I know there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I don't want another 28 days type of game type of thing, but I'm still looking forward to like Dying Light 2. So
got it. Okay. All right. So another great topic, man. We're going to wrap up that Call of Duty. Once again, thank you guys for all watching. You guys are fucking amazing. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the show. Everybody listening that's not in the chat, make sure you retweet that link. Hit the like button on your way and subscribe. You guys already know the drill. Follow us all on Twitter. That's all in the description below. So next topic, this is the first, I don't want to say real talk, but this is the first thing that I'm really, really, really excited to actually talk about now. There's some stuff happened this week besides the obvious. Some stuff in the gaming world happened this week. Now, we saw a couple games on the Sony side of things. Well, I don't say a couple, but we saw them make a change as far as a game going to PC. So I don't necessarily want to talk about that act. I just want to talk about the fact that
it'll be fun.
yeah, I mean we could, but
come on.
This is gonna kind of encompass all of that anyway. This is where we'll bring up the specifics.
Fucking Debbie Downer.
Dude, actually, honestly, I feel like I saw more people act a fool over
Oh my god.
for Horizon Zero Dawn going to PC than trying to grab toilet paper in a store right now.
We'll get into that.
I'm saying right, dude. I mean, I saw some stuff that I was sitting there going, please let that be fake.
God damn,
please
Horizon's actually easier, but that's different.
We'll get into this. Let me finish though. Let me finish. So it's just about the first party exclusive games moving forward, being on other platforms. Just your general opinion. Now that people are seeing, look, these companies just want more people to buy their games. They don't really care where people buy them at. This idea that a lot of people had that, wait, this is not going to happen. This company does not, they don't do that, and they want these things to be truly exclusive. That is not a thing. It's just not, it does not exist in today's digital age. Everything's available everywhere. Everything's available everywhere, and every company wants it to be. That way they have more opportunities to sell it. So just going forward, what do you think about that, Stag? Now, I know, like I said, we had an example of it this week, but what's your genuine opinion on that going forward?
Well, I mean, I think that, yeah, it's a great idea. I mean, sorry, I was kind of like, I scrolled back up to the question because I was playing a video game and not listening to you. Sorry, you guys are always like, hey, I play a game while we're on the show, and I'm like trying to do that. I'm like, yeah, this doesn't work for me. I think it's great, honestly. Like, do I think Sony's going to do more of it? I actually think they will. I think they're testing the waters right now with certain games.
to see how well the PC community responds to their games being available on PC, and if it's a good response, kind of like Halo has been on Steam, and it makes money for them, they would be fucking stupid to not day and date that shit. And I hate saying day and date, and I just said it twice in less than 30 seconds. So, no, I don't think it takes away from the brands on either side of, Nintendo. Not Nintendo doesn't do it, but Xbox or PlayStation. I think it only adds value to those brands because it's like, I mean, only so many people play on PC, and let's be real, all these people that are getting mad about it being on PC don't even probably have a high-end gaming rig, first of all. They're already playing it on PlayStation or they're playing it on Xbox, but there is a very large group of people out there, granted it's not like ginormous, but that are dedicated PC players, and why should they have to go buy a console just to play a game if there's a revenue stream available to a company and they're not taking advantage of it, and they look at it and they're like, we can make money here. I really don't understand the outrage that's been happening, and I think like this whole like exclusives make a platform relevant. I mean, Xbox has been pretty relevant. I mean, sure, they only sold like a little more than half as many consoles, but they're, like we've talked about before, they're in less markets. So I think they did pretty well for not being, a worldwide brand. For not having, I mean, honestly, as an Xbox guy, not having exclusives on par with Sony. I mean, they have good exclusives. Their games, like, look, I've been talking to a lot of people offline lately. When it comes to Sony and Xbox, because I have friends in real life that play Sony, and I have friends in real life that play Xbox. And I'm like, the way I look at it is Sony makes great narrative-driven stories, strong story games.
Sony formula, I say it all the time.
Yeah, that you can connect with on a deeper level. But I continually have more actual fun playing on my Xbox. That's not taking anything away from either system, but they have their place, and they both I don't know. It's kind of getting away from first party gaming, but like I said, I think that it's a good thing to move to more platforms. Now, do I see Xbox putting their games on PlayStation or vice versa? No, I don't. I don't like that idea. I think that would actually devalue the brands slightly. I know some people call for it in the sense of like, there shouldn't be exclusives at all. They should be on every platform. Yada yada yada. I don't agree with that.
Yeah,
that's I do agree with it going to PC though, because that still gives you that like, okay, it's only on PlayStation, but you can also play it on PC. It's not like it's on PlayStation and PC and now coming to Xbox or vice versa. I think having just two places is kind of cool instead of like, I mean, other than Minecraft, but that's its own fucking beast. So, I see it. I see it as a good thing, and I see it happening more going forward.
Got it. And I agree. I agree with that. Now, this is not an indictment to Sony or Microsoft or any particular company at all, because, like you said, I do agree at one point because exclusives do differentiate. I don't go to McDonald's and ask for a king, whatever that Big King, whatever. I ask
Whopper.
for a Big Mac. Yeah, I don't go to McDonald's and ask for a Whopper. You know what I'm saying? I ask for a Big Mac. So they do differentiate the platforms, but at the same time, you got to understand that this is business. And if Sony sees an opportunity, they are in the business of making money first and foremost. They're going to take the opportunity. And the sooner you understand that, the better off you're going to be, the less stressed you're going to be about that
They don't care about nothing but your money.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, it's based on what makes sense for the company. And I think a lot of us know that. A lot of us let other things get in the way of that, as far as just our pie in the sky and what we want to happen. But none of us are sitting in those boardrooms. None of us are sitting there, making those decisions. We're not even at that pay range, that pay bracket. They got far more intelligent people, sitting there with those ideas. But I think it is something that we're going to see more of, and more companies doing that. I think this is not the last time you're going to see Sony putting a first party exclusive, air quotes, on PC. It's gonna happen, I think, going forward, as long as there's a call for it, especially if they see success right now with games like Horizon Zero Dawn. And you guys got to understand, this is a game. How old is it? When did Horizon come out? 2018,
Yeah, it's like 3 years. Yeah,
18, 17,
2016,
16,
2017, I think.
fairly early, halfway through the generation. So this is giving this game more legs and more room to breathe. Nobody's really. It's a single player game. There's no DLC as far as I know. There's no multiplayer. So this is giving the game more life. So this is only beneficial for Guerrilla Games and Horizon Zero Dawn. And once again, if it makes sense, I think we're going to continue to see this from both platforms going forward. Now, I do agree, Stag. We're not going to be doing a Sony on Xbox and Xbox on Sony. That's not going to happen ever. I doubt. Like you said, outside of things like Minecraft.
I mean, I learned
Fortnite,
a long time ago to never say never, but
that's true. That's true.
highly
That's true.
unlikely.
Yeah, that's highly unlikely that's
I
going
mean,
to happen.
unless one of them turns into a Sega, you know what I mean? And
Just
honestly, if
full
either
third
of them would turn into a Sega, I honestly think it would be Microsoft way before Sony. And that's nothing against the brand; it's just loyalty and how much sales one of them gets versus the other. So,
Got it. So I agree. So let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Fuzz. Let's get your genuine opinion on these first-party games and the decision. We're seeing this more and more now at probably the last year and a half or so. With the push for crossplay on top of what we're talking about today, do you see this being something that's just going to continue happening going forward?
Definitely. I'm surprised it hasn't ramped up a bit more. I know a lot of people had talked about that this was going to happen a couple of years ago, and a lot of the fan base was like, "Oh, that'll never happen," and now they're taking L's on that. But the same thing with even though Kojima Studios isn't really first party, you saw
They
that
might as
game
well
go
be.
to PC.
yeah, but that was announced when the game was announced.
That we already knew about that. Yeah, people just turned the other.
forgot.
Yeah, they looked the other way on that one. But yeah, that wasn't anything.
All right, Fuzz, go ahead. But
but in the grand scheme of things, with games going from the console to the PC, if anything, and this is probably a roundabout silver lining, if the game is playable on PC and then people start modding it, and then the devs see some of the mods that people on PC have put into it, and then there's a part 2 coming out soon, those might be implemented into the console if it's a possibility. Perfect example, I remember hearing a story about how with Horizon Zero Dawn, based on the hardware, they could not have that flying element in the game for the console. Well, that shouldn't be a problem for PC. I mean, PC, the specs are whatever you want to pay to make it.
Yeah.
So if somebody mods that in there and people are like, oh, wow, that is missing from the game, or that's something that would really add to the game, and there's now that push or that buzz about it, well, it will more than likely wind up in Horizon Zero Dawn 2 if it's not already a planned thing. So games going to other platforms as far as like the PC platform, it just makes sense. I mean, whether the games go to mobile or PC, I can't see why a fan base would really be upset, in the sense that you now have multiple ways to play the game. Mm-hmm. The drawback sometimes might be if you have to pay for additional copies. I know, the model that Microsoft has where you buy the copy once and you have it on PC and Xbox, that I kind of like, considering, I got 2 twin boys and it can get a little expensive buying multiple copies for multiple things in the house. So that play it anywhere or play everywhere type of thing is a good setup. But I expect Sony to do it more and more going forward. Will they do it with God of War? That'll probably be the next test. I know that there's been some talk about it where the head of the studio was talking about, well, that's something that is above his pay grade. He would like to see it happen, but that's for Sony to decide. We'll see what they say, and I'm pretty sure if Horizon Zero Dawn does well enough, that will probably be the next one to go.
Yeah, and I can see God of War doing very well, especially on PC.
Oh, yeah.
I can see a lot of people being excited about getting that on PC.
That game would look amazing on PC.
Oh my god! Oh yeah! Don't even get me started. Oh yeah! Don't even get me started. I can imagine the ultra 4K, 8K videos coming on YouTube and people playing. It will look crazy. But I agree, Fuzz. I don't want to cut you off, Fuzz. Was that?
No, that's it. I just think expect more of it to come on both sides. I mean, Xbox is going to continue to do it, and so is Sony.
Okay, cool. All right, since you're around, it's on you, brother. So, what's your general opinion on the exclusive, the first party exclusives? Let me be clear here. Being opening up, being available to PC, things like that. You think that's something that we're just gonna continue to see what's a success going forward?
Well, for starters, I need to plainly let know on why they haven't implemented this more because he asked that question. Well, if we all look at what people were doing on Twitter, I could see why PlayStation hasn't made this switch because the world. Yeah, you think there's chaos in the streets now? Oh my God. Anyway, so yes, this is something that Sony is probably more than likely going to look at doing a little bit more often. They're testing the waters right now. They obviously don't want to do something major that's going to offend their fan base, especially at the beginning of a console generation, whenever that may be. Hopefully, it's still this holiday season. I think they're going to wait until after the console launches to really ramp this up, purely because by that time people would already be investing back into the ecosystem. So at that point, they already got your money, and then they might start changing things up. I don't really see what the big deal is with this, honestly. To me, PC is its own thing. You know, I understand the idea of console exclusives. They're still a console exclusive. You got to go out and buy that console to have that exclusive if you want to play it on a console. Now, to me, PC is its own thing. We talked about this the other night on Saltiest Game. There's just people out there in the world. People can tout PC Master Race and all this other stuff. Yes, playing a game is the absolute best situation. The best experience you could ever have is on PC. But there's people out there that don't want to deal with what comes with the PC. You got to be your own tech person. You know, new tech comes out, you got to upgrade it. There's just people that don't want to deal with that. So to them, console is the best experience, the ideal experience, because literally the biggest pain in the butt with a console is going out and affording it, taking it home, plugging it in, and playing a game.
Ease of use. Mm-hmm.
Ease of use. And so that's where there's just I don't see PC as something that competes with console. I see it as something that supplements it, because with PC around, it actually almost pushes these experiences like Fuzzy was talking about, mods. Not to mention, like, it's being built on PC, so I also think it's just wasted time and revenue when a company can't put something on PC because it was like, hey, we used a PC to build it. Why can't we put it on PC? Mm-hmm. We go on about this all day, but to me, PC is just something that I know it's there. I have a PC, but I prefer to play on console. Console exclusives do set a standard for that. You know, when I hear Halo, Gears, Forza, any of those, I automatically think Xbox. So it definitely has its place in the gaming industry. But for me, I think exclusives only should matter with first-party studios. The minute you start having second and third-party studios and all these different hands involved, at that point, exclusives really shouldn't matter, because the whole point is to make as much money as possible, and that's putting it everywhere you can.
Got it. So good breakdown. Perfect breakdown.
Once again, I rambled on. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. No. Once again, guys.
Got to fill the time somehow.
I know, right? No, actually, I heard Stagger was having issues sleeping, so I'm really trying to help
him out.
I'm just trying to keep myself busy and do more. Yeah, you've been breaking up the whole show, brother.
A little bit. Yeah, the audio's been kind of cutting in and out. So hopefully we can get that figured out.
We're just amateurs over here.
I didn't sacrifice the lamb before the show to the Google guys. Right. I forgot today, so I apologize. So I'll make sure I get a fresh kill next week, guys. Sorry about that.
You gotta save that food now, though.
Yeah, you're right. I can't do it this.
Can't just be fucking killing shit just for shows now.
Sorry, good. But anyway, moving on, everybody. That was a great. I think we all under the same opinion that that's something that if it just makes sense going forward, we're going to see more of. You know, obviously it's going to push the platform a lot of creative ways. So let's go ahead and move on to the last topic here. Just wrapping things up. And this is actually probably the biggest topic that I wanted to get to today. And obviously we're talking E3. Obviously the show has been canceled. We all understand what is going on. A lot of things have been canceled. We're not getting a lot of stuff as of right now that we normally get this time of year. It is very unfortunate, but completely understandable. If you don't understand why, you should probably go hide somewhere and maybe rethink what's going on. But at the end of the day, I wanted to talk about more the changes that we're going to expect from these companies, because Xbox has come out and said, "Hey, we get it. It's, we understand, but we're still doing something." So some of the changes that we may see, and are these changes going to be something that we see implementing going forward if we do not get an event at all this year, which we're pretty sure that's probably where things are going. We're probably not going to have an event at all unless things drastically change in the next month or so. So, what kind of changes would you like to see, Stag, or what kind of changes would you think we're going to see from somebody like Xbox is doing the show, or other developers that were supposed to be going to E3?
Well, I mean, in all honesty here, I'm gonna actually give Sony a little bit of props. They kind of, granted they pulled out of E3 the last couple of years, and they've been pulling out of other things, but they were a little bit ahead of the curve when it comes to we're changing our format and how we release our content with the state of plays and the stuff like that they've been doing on the internet, and doing more tweeting and putting out YouTube videos and stuff. I see more of that being the future. I mean, look, E3 is great. I mean, I went last year. I don't know. For me, it wasn't everything that everybody else makes it out to be. I had a good time at Fan Fest and stuff like that. I think personally, it's a great way to give back to your fan base, and that's what Xbox has continually said, and that's why they love doing Fan Fest and doing E3 and doing these events. But it all comes back to money a lot of the times for these companies, and really, like, those things cost. I mean, it costs a lot of money to rent space, pay people to do host the events, work the events, merchandising. There's just a ton of money that goes into all of that. Well, they recently had a video that came out not too long ago. Sorry.
I did. Go ahead.
I see more video. I don't know if you would call it video conferences.
Then directs, Nintendo.
Do you have something like that, or just more? I see more of that, and just we have this. I mean, especially now that we've all been home. Not all of us, obviously, because some people still have to go to work. But the more of us that are home, the more of us that are using our internets. Like, for instance, my wife is working from home right now because she's got the capability, but like she's continually video conferencing. I did not jump out of my seat. Well, actually, I did. I ran away. She's doing all her meetings, online right now, and the ability to reach people that way and in their homes, and have it be like all we got to do is have a studio that we now own. We'll just use Microsoft as an example, on campus in Redmond. Like, we just set up an amphitheater here or whatever. We took a fucking meeting room and made a set out of it, and this is now where weekly, monthly, or whenever we have something we want to say, we just put together a show that only costs us, $5,000-$10,000 instead of $4 to $20-$30 million. It's more cost effective, which in the long run, I mean, really, they can put that money towards gaming, and better services for us. So I would love to see. I love the fact that you can get hands-on at games on these events like that. I had a great time at PAX West, seeing all these smaller developers, and that's going to be the harder thing. Smaller developers get to do a lot of meet and greets and co-mingling and sharing of ideas when they're together like that
at the one big event.
Yeah, but also, I mean, it's harder for them to get your eyes on their product if they're just doing an individual event. But if you're walking around and the thing you really want to do has a line an hour long, but that game over there that looks kind of interesting but you've never heard of, ain't nobody playing it, you're going to walk right over and check it out. So that it might hurt them a little bit, but there might be a new platform that we've never ever even thought of that comes out. It's just like that puts all of them together, kind of a thing, and stuff. So
okay. Now, I agree with you to a point. Now, I will give Sony some credit. I won't give, because hindsight is 20/20. Yeah. If this had not happened, this conversation would be completely different. I don't know if we'd be having the same kind of conversation that we're having now about E3. Now, I do think that what this will do is push them to be able to provide content in other creative ways, and I like that because obviously E3, you show up, you show your shit, everybody goes home after 3 or 4 days. That's kind of the format. This makes it a little more not difficult, but it kind of forces them to be a little bit more creative about how do we get this information about. And the one thing, and I was talking to Fuzzy about this last night in party chat on Xbox, is that this will allow them. They're not under E3's constraints. They're doing their own show when they want to do it. There's no time slot. There's no none of that because even at E3, as big as Xbox is or Sony is, they have slots that they have to fit in. They have to work around everybody else's schedule. Doing your own show, you can do whatever the hell you want. So it is gonna allow them to be creative, and I do enjoy that. So I don't know if the credit for Sony and once again, if it turns out to be something that is really really good for Sony, then yeah, I'll go back and say, hey, Sony gets all the credit. But that waits to be seen because we haven't seen Sony do anything. So we'll hold judgment on that. But either way, I do agree with you for the most part, Stag, that the indies, I didn't even consider that, and I'm glad you brought that up because that is something that may hurt them a little bit because they don't have the platform to go and put on this huge big event for their small indie game. And E3 is a great opportunity for them to rub shoulders with other people, bigger devs, get noticed, things like that. So I agree with that, and I didn't even consider that. And I know you're a big indie guy.
I always gotta think about my indies in the equation of this shit.
They drive the industry in a way. We talked about this on the show. They do. Their indies drive the industry in a lot of ways. People don't.
But they do things in games that big developers and publishers won't do. But if they see it work in a smaller game, even though it might not sell a shit ton, you better goddamn believe they're going to throw it in their game.
Absolutely. So I do agree with you on that point. So let's throw this over to you, Fuzz. I know we were talking about this last night, like I said in party chat. But what do you think going forward? Now, like I said, hindsight is 2020. We didn't know any of this shit was coming, so we all were lined up for E3 2020 for sure. So with this change happening, what do you think as far as all these companies? So whether Sony put out early, they obviously didn't know this was going to happen when they did that, but all these other companies, Xbox, Ubisoft, Activision, what do you think this is going to do going forward for E3?
Well, weird silver lining. Just thinking about it just now, leaks are going to be a lot smaller, I believe, since everything's going to be internal as far as the company itself.
Yeah.
It's going to be tight lips, within the company. And I mean, we may get hints of, you may want to pay attention to this show or this, but you're not going to get the leaks like what we had before, where it was almost like a whole complete schedule or rundown of what they planned to show on the E3 stage.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, but all of that aside, the one thing I would like to see come of this, and this kind of ties to what Stag was saying with like the hands-on, whether it's the indies or the long lines for some of the other games. I'm wondering if there's a way, both Sony and Xbox, if they can have it where we can have almost like mini demos. Even if it's something that's not even a full level, just to kind of be like, hey, this week, while we're unveiling, our new studio or new games and more deep dive into the hardware, here's some tech demos for you guys to try out as they're talking about it. Or here's the, demo for, Everwild or something along those lines. Since we're not going to have that hands-on type of deal, I'm wondering if they'll be able to implement something like that. I know that's probably a big ask, especially considering how they have to prepare for the shows to get those things done. But if they can release a demo, that I think would kind of, I wouldn't say make up for things, but it would at least allow, especially if they're going to have like some indies mixed into like the ID at Xbox, what they would have at that section of the show. If they can have some of the indies have like a mini demo, so that way it gets more eyes on their product. They might be able to get feedback that'll help them as far as if there were some possible changes that they were looking to make, going forward before the release of the game. But those are the big things that I think of with the show being canceled for now. I mean, it's kind of sad, but there's bigger and more important things, people's health and whatnot. But I would just like to see some demos or something along those lines.
Okay, so you know what? Then this is exactly what I'm talking about, though. It forces these companies, to be creative because I mean, they obviously there was a plan, I'm sure they talk about E3 right after E3 ended last year. They're already talking about the next one, So I'm sure that they obviously none of us knew this was coming, so it's going to force everybody to be a little bit creative. Everybody is kind of under time constraints now. Well, I don't really know time constraints because now no event means they can literally do a show. It doesn't have to be in June, could be July, could be August. So we don't know when we're going to get the information. Obviously, they're not going to wait too long because we're supposed to get these new consoles this year. But I do like the fact that this is going to force these companies to be creative, maybe even collaborate. Maybe Xbox will still have some third parties there to show off what they were planning on showing on stage in other ways. So I just like the idea that this is going to put people in kind of a creative position to still provide the content that they're trying to get out. Very very it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I'm still excited about whatever we get anyway from anybody. So let's go ahead and move over to you, Centurion. Get your general opinion on E3. Obviously the show is not happening going forward. What are we gonna get? What can you see the types of changes these companies gonna make, Centurion?
Well, for starters, you stole my one thing I was gonna say about the fact that we don't know when these companies are going to release information now.
Yeah, we have no
It has
idea.
definitely got everybody that you're going to be like, oh my God, you're going to feel like that guy on the Titanic looking for an iceberg. I mean, you can look out. You feel on the lookout. Now, whether or not we see it coming, that's a different story. But it's going to make it very interesting going forward because who is going to release their price tag first? How are they going to release it? It's just there is just so much that could happen now. And like you said, what if they wait till the last minute? What if we don't know anything until August, even as late as September? Yeah. Because like if you really Gamescom is in August, they could completely just like, we'll wait for Gamescom. We'll see.
There may not, if there is even a Gamescom.
If there's even a Gamescom, but you get what I mean, though.
Yeah.
So definitely. Well, then, no way. XO is there, so I really doubt that they're, have some kind of crazy drop for XO. But at any rate, what do I want to see going forward? For starters, whoever's in charge of E3, truly, I believe the ESA, they all need to sit down. Definitely get some catering. Give them some pencils, coloring books, whatever we got to do to help stimulate the creative process. We got to really revamp the E3 process over here. We got to start creating things because for starters, this is going to set a precedence that's going to show these companies that they can do this without E3.
True. That's another thing. And we didn't dive into that. Yeah, but that's a good point.
So now we got to deal with E3 has to do something next year if they want to have another E3 that's going to be like, hey, we went back to the drawing board, we had some good ideas, this is what we're doing this year, we want you to be a part of it. And those companies will be like, oh, something new, something fresh, let's definitely hop on board. But it's like, oh, it's this same old thing. We found out how much money we could save by doing different things. So definitely this puts a big amount of pressure on the guys at the ESA to try to create something to bring all these companies back next year, in my opinion. Otherwise, what is E3 going to be after next year? You were supposed to go this year, Blam, and I was going to try to find my way down there myself. And now it's just like, well, that kind of sucks, but all right, cool. Anyways, that's just where I'm at with it. Is I just really hope they revamp E3. I hope they turn it into an event that actually moves around. I've heard it mentioned the same way from numerous people on it should be an event like WrestleMania, not held in the same place twice in a row. It should travel around, and it should be something to embrace. In my opinion, at this point, it should be something to embrace gaming culture. Gaming has become a culture. It's embraced in different ways all around the world, and I really think E3 should be a celebration of that.
Good. Good perfect breakdown. Anybody want to add anything to anything that he said, Stag, Fuzz, on top of that?
No, he killed it.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty. A lot of things you brought up that I hadn't considered, like you said, about next year. I mean, if they do have some success and we see them, if this works out, better for these companies, because it could. I mean, that's a real possibility that they may be like, shit, this is actually, we could do this every year. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's like we could spend X amount of $1 million at E3 and get this kind of return. or we could save this kind of money and do it ourselves. And the numbers said we got a better return than what we got out of E3.
Yeah, it's a real possibility. Now, I don't want to diminish E3 as an event because I still think it's a Super Bowl of video games. There's no single event like E3, in my opinion. So I still think it's something that's. Some people want to say it's not necessary anymore, whatever the case may be. I don't even think that's the right word for it. I just think it's part of the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no other event that gets so many people together in one place outside of like Gamescom. There's no other event, maybe TGS, stuff like that, but TGX, sorry. But other than that, there's only a handful of these that we get on each continent. There's one on each continent. You know what I'm saying? So we don't get a lot of these, and it's very important for the culture that these things happen. So it's very, very interesting to see things going forward. Now, we're pretty much going to go ahead and wrap this show up for today, man. You guys have been fucking amazing. Everybody showed up, showed out. Everybody is watching. Let me go ahead and give some quick shout outs here in the chat. We got Crazy Greek. We got Zinc. Obviously, Mod of the Year, Shonsu, Betterman. Appreciate you staying up, bro. I know you're in the UK. It's like 3, 4 in the morning over there. Thank you so much, man. Cyber, Sam Walton. I'm still waiting on my toilet paper, man. We got to make sure you guys re-up. Mr. Walton over there. Just everybody watching. I know I'm missing a bunch of people, but everybody watching may not be in the chat. We greatly appreciate you guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Got more content. So I'm working on something big for not necessarily big for next week, but different for next week. Something we haven't had in a long time. So look for that tweet coming out soon as I can get some confirmation. I'm really, really excited about it. But you guys will get more of that information starting Monday. But other than that, let's go ahead and get to you, Stag. Let everybody know what's going on with you, bro. I greatly appreciate you coming on today. I know all this craziness is happening, but glad that we can provide some type of content for the community, something that they can grab onto for the weekend to get back to normalcy. And I greatly appreciate you taking your time out every week. But let everybody know what's going on with you. Now you got your system back up and going. Now you're still working out the kinks, and where can everybody find you at?
I think we got the kinks worked out.
But
Nice.
I will be providing I can catch up on some sleep. I mean, I got my graphics card back this week, and I got everything hooked back up. Providing I'm feeling up to it, I'm going to be back to streaming come this Monday. You can always catch me on I'm tired. Twitch.tv// whatever the / thingy Staggerilla. I'm like I said, I need to catch up on sleep. I'm gonna be having I don't know. I have to go in and see a sinus surgeon again because I have to have sinus surgery again. But I have a feeling that's going to be put off until we get through all the craziness we're in the middle of right now. But yeah, you can catch me on Twitch, Twitter, and here every Saturday.
Nice. So go check him out. Once again, all of that information is in the description. He's back up and running now. Give him a little bit of time to get everything back where it needs to be. But he's been streaming a lot of.
Yeah, you guys are all home.
Yeah, check him out. Please hit the damn button. I made sure the link is in the description, guys. Go check him out for real. Do me a favor, if you guys like this show, please go check Stag out, man. He's a super engaging streamer. He talks, which is big for me. I don't necessarily like people to just sit there and stare at the game and don't interact. He does both extremely well at a high level. So check him out, and you will not be disappointed. And I thank you personally once again, Stag. You always take your time out every Saturday for me, man. So appreciate you greatly, man. Let's throw this over to Fuzz, man. No, actually not Fuzz. I'm fucking out of order. I'm off today.
Jesus.
I'm out of order. What am I doing? We save you for last every week, Fuzz. Centurion, man, what's going on with you, brother? When can we expect some more heat?
All right. Well, the heat is on. I'm definitely cooking out videos at least once a week now. We had one drop earlier this week. Thank you to everybody who checked it out. By the way, I think it'd be absolutely awesome for Stagger to go in for sinus surgery, wake up like Rick Grimes in the Walking Dead, just doesn't know what's going on, just all hell breaking loose.
You realize that means most of us would be dead, right?
Bro, who said that?
That's
Dude,
a
what are you
horrible
talking
idea.
about?
They all be like them people hiding in the dark zombie type
Exactly.
shit,
Like,
right?
no,
Are we
no,
doing I'm Legend,
You gotta rethink
or
that.
I mean,
You
what are we
gotta
doing
rethink
here?
that idea.
I'll just say right now, I'm in division the hell up, and I will get in my little cleaner outfit, and we will just walk down the street and clean things up a little bit, if you get what I mean. Anyways, for those who want to find my crazy mentality, I can always be found on social media and Xbox Live. YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, Centurion1307, and you can always find me kicking it here with you guys right here on Saturdays on the Shop Podcast, Sundays on the TXR Podcast, And Thursdays on the Saltiest Gaming Podcast. Too many podcasts.
Hey, you got to get it, man. Check him out once again. You know, he's always
Podcasting is
consistent.
fun for me. That's what I love.
Super consistent. Great show. Like I said before, check out his channel. All of the information is in the description below. More videos coming from Centurion, so you guys can always look forward to that. Once again, Centurion, I want to thank you personally, man. Every single week you're here. I appreciate your consistency as well, brother. Last but not least, man, Fuzzy Belvedere, man, speaks for itself. The voice of reason. Barry Ross is what we call him around here. What's going on with you, man? Where can everybody find you at, brother, if they don't know already?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at fuzzy_Belvedere, Xbox Live, Fuzzy Space Belvedere, PSN, Fuzzy_Belvedere, but mainly on Xbox Live playing Division 2. That's what I'll be doing when I'm not working from home. But yeah, man, awesome show as usual, guys.
Awesome. And last but not least, your boy Ptk Bl4m, man. Catch me Xbox Live if you want a game. Hit me up there. Hit me on Twitter as well. All of that's below. I appreciate you guys so much. You guys are making the show phenomenal. Every week you come out with your energy. The chat was on fire today as usual. Shout out to the mods in the chat. You guys do such a great job of keeping things going. Shonsu, Zinc, everybody in there doing their thing. Got more stuff to come next week. Like I said, be on the lookout for that poll of the week on Monday. Follow me on Twitter, as well as just the updates about who's going to be on the show, what's happening for the podcast for the upcoming weekend. I do want to end the show on you guys all please stay safe, keep your family safe, take the proper precautions, don't be silly. Okay, this is a real thing, and I'm not pandering here, but I want to cause any panic. But just be safe, be smart, do what you need to do. I understand we all got to live. We're all in this together. Take it one day at a time. But I do greatly appreciate you guys spending your time with me this Saturday. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Peace out, everybody. We are out of here. Take it easy.
Later.
Get a bidet.